Hallo miteinander, I'm Gesh86 and this is the Disappearing of Gensokyo. Last time we developed lycanthrophobia or lycanthrophilia, that depends on your preference. We also met a violent doppelganger of Sakuya, more violent than the original already is. Stage 10 allows you to bring Cherno for no cost at all. Of course we're going to take that offer. If only the Ice Fairy were as kind as she is powerful. She puts ice into Reisen's ears while the rabbit sleeps. Why do you have to be a bully? We're about to find new enemies that have something special going for them. The Scarlet Devil Mansion Fairy Maids are not just hostile to us, but also to the Sinsack army. That makes this a 3-faction battle royale. It's usually best to support the Sinsacks a little, as the mansion personnel tends to be stronger. This sign says there's extreme danger, but Iku tells us to ignore it. Are we going to trust a dead piece of manufactured wood over our longtime friend? Pfft, don't be ridiculous. We shall continue north and wipe out anyone who opposes us. That was 3 black fairies at the same time. You are not supposed to win against that kind of enemy placement. So has MyACG completely lost their sense for game design? Nope. The idea is that there are 2 routes to get through the level. We just took the terrible one. You're meant to ignore Iku's ill advice and take a left here. Radars showing extremely weak enemies on the path ahead, the transmission said. Did the Oarfish betray us? What's next? Will she command us to reset our Nintendo Entertainment System? Anyway, once we approach this glittering frog, Cherno will create an ice bridge. Don't storm over it too recklessly, because a kraken lives in the lake. Had this been true for Adventures of Scarlet Curiosity, that game would have ended after the first level. Something interesting to know about freezing the bridge frogs. You don't need to have Cherno equipped to activate them. She does not even need to be your reserve weapon. I guess it can just be assumed that the Ice Fairy trails along. Right here we can choose between 2 frogs. The one facing north leads to an optional bonus island. It amuses me so that Cherno can't just make ice bridges anywhere, as if she won't do it if there are no amphibians to torture. In a way, Cherno has to be tricked, baited through these means, into being as clever and helpful as she is. This island only had a logbook as a reward, too bad it wasn't anything more practical. A while ago, we found Oku as a secondary weapon. In case you have bad luck with virtual dice rolls, the Hellraven can also be found on an island to the east of here. That is, if the Kraken doesn't claim you first. The tentacles have no AI and will always slap the same spots in the same intervals, but they're nonetheless absolutely fearsome. I will tell you why in a moment. This place was where you could have always picked up Oku, but that became nothing but obsolete to us as we've upgraded to the mighty Marissa. Back to the tentacles. If they're so brainless, what's bad about them? Simple, they effectively kill you instantly. The tentacle smack won't finish you off, but the knockback of the hit will catapult you over boundaries into the lake. The Touhous of DOG cannot swim, too much Bruce Willis in them. The Kraken will always spell your doom except once. Watch this. That was intentional. It's the only way to reach this small island, the resting place of a magic piece. Yeah, this is another case of how was anyone supposed to find that? Of course I didn't figure it out myself. In fact, on my first lap through stage 10, I finished with only 1 out of 3 magic pieces, and the one I found was the most obvious, which is still coming up. Down here is some free ammo for Marissa, meant for anyone who's had bad luck and hasn't come across her yet. From the checkpoint onward is when the defenders of the Scarlet Devil Mansion start showing up again. Their squads are made up of lancers and mages. The latter like to create 3-pronged laser beams. They're only dangerous once they've fully materialized. You must position yourself between them before that happens. Tucked away on the northwesternmost island, the very same we just set foot upon, is the second simple magic piece. Oh, I hate the big pink bullets. The fairies that shoot them are old news, but you nonetheless can't underestimate them. Just like you can't underestimate black fairies. We cut it very close against that last one. Do know that all of this archipelago island hopping that we're doing is still only to avoid the trio of black fairies that pulverized us a few minutes ago. It's one heck of a detour. Dang, that Lancer was a nuisance. The fairy maids are noticeably tougher than other melee fighters we have come across. They have a nasty dash attack and will sometimes spin around like the Karakasa can. Would you believe we have landed on the same shoreline we started the level at? If we went about 2 screens south of here, we would discover and provoke the 3 murderous fairies of darkness again. The level is actually hilariously short. We could beat it in about a minute if it weren't for that group. And honestly, I think that's genius. Stage 10 might be my favorite of all in DOG for being so unconventional. Too bad we're almost done with it. Last thing we can do is surveying the SDM's garden. It's sorely lacking. Mei Ling must have been slacking off again. You'll find no trace of her in this game, by the way. We did not get all of the magic pieces this time. Where could the last one have been? I have replayed stage 10 once more and put a clip on how to get the missing treasure at the end of our video. You will understand then why it would not make sense to get all the collectibles on the initial run through the level. While Tenshi is complaining to Iku about how exhausting it is to solve an incident, and how she wished Deus Ex Machina revealed our villain, I wanted to talk about the, let's say, divisive nature of Stage 10. I already told you I greatly appreciate what the developer has done with the level. The idea is super cool to me. That opinion will not be shared by everyone, to say it lightly. I have watched another Let's Play of DOG, and Stage 10 drove its host into a rage. He did not spot the frog, and continued to bash his head against the wall, trying to defeat the trio of black fairies. For me personally, it wasn't much of an issue. They mopped the floor with me once. After that, I discovered the path over the lake. My experience of back then is closely mirrored by today's video. Just because everything turned out differently for me, doesn't mean I don't understand how frustrating the loop was the Let's Player was caught in. DOG is usually a very straightforward game. Stage 10 with its splitting path is truly unique. No other part of our quest requires this specific and unexpected kind of finesse. Tenshi and the death-defying Reisen are talking about a boatman with big boobs and red hair here. That's quite a reduction of Komachi Onuzuka's person. The Shinigami unfortunately has no greater part than that in this adventure. With how many Touhous there are, it's hard to include all of them in a single game. Marissa pressures us to get a move on, but we'll spend the time for some shopping today. We could reduce Chirno's Danmaku preparation time. However, what I think holds her back more is not having the greatest range. So let's improve on that weak point. Returning once more to the problem of not catching on to what Stage 10 expects of you. The only tip I can really give you on this is to always stay curious and experiment no matter what genre you're playing. Don't assume too swiftly that a game is being stupid and all of its previously good design has been thrown out the window. The whole situation reminds me of a 2017 game that I really adore called Nioh. In its very first mission after the prologue, there is a mansion you have to invade. If you burst in through the front door, you'll alert the whole garrison and you'll have an incredibly tough time. Too tough, most likely. Nioh is not a dedicated stealth game, so you might not think you did something fundamentally wrong. What you're supposed to do is explore the surrounding forest and approach the mansion from the other side. Then you can pick off the guards one by one. Take it from me, it pays to be looking for an easy way out in video games. Back to the game we're actually playing, Bird Brain Mystia was being forgetful about her own forgetfulness, making herself smart in the world of her own logic. Sometimes ignorance is bliss. Yoshika agrees to talk to Tenshi now, but that does not mean the two will get along, and Kokoro is still excited about her breakthrough to stardom in the subterranean world. Overall, very few new subjects introduced themselves this time around. We had familiar throwbacks instead. We are drawing closer to the bonus clip I promised you. Where could that last magic piece have been? I can already tell you that the hiding spot was not a clever one at all. All you have to do is get past the 3 killer fairies, because that's incredibly easy. Not. Well, a surprise attack by Marissa can win you the damage race, just barely. After that, the item is yours. You will receive a separate Steam achievement for overcoming this encounter that you're not meant to overcome. You could also swipe the piece without a fight by using Koishi. The other Satori is paid DLC and can become unnoticeable for a short time. You know the drill, that option was not open to us, but we also proved it wasn't necessary. With that, I'm Gish86, this was the Disappearing of Gensokyo, and next time, can someone turn the volume up on those subtitles please? Bis bald!